Hello friends, my name is Brad Beard, owner and winemaker for Mercury Wine, located in downtown Geyserville, California. Welcome to Pairings with Brad, where I cook up some good eats and find out which one of my wines pairs up best. And today we have two things we're going to be cooking up for you today. Our first one is a white bean soup. It's been nice and chilly around here, and so I was thinking about having some soup, although today we ended up at almost 80 degrees. And then our other one is absolute Beard family favorite. It's my anti-phase flank steak strips recipe, a nice 1970s marinade recipe that just creates some beautiful flavored steaks. And we're gonna be doing it up two ways, one with the traditional flank steak, and we'll also do it with London broil, which is what I grew up on. And if you do it that way, sometimes you can get it marinated a little faster. And then the two wines we're going to be drinking today. First, I have my 2019 Alexander Valley Sauvignon Blanc, made in the Sancerre style, not so quite grassy and grapefruity. And then my yet to be released, we're going to be releasing this in a couple days, my brand new 2016 GSM blend, Garnish Syrah Mourvedre, that we call Freddy Cuvée. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got all sorts of great ingredients here for the white beans. We're going to start out by heating up this dish over here. Woohoo! Don't do that at home. I'm sure we're going to edit that out. Fantastic. So we're going to get that going. We're going to heat up a couple tablespoons of olive oil. But actually I'm using avocado oil. I've been turned on to that recently. The recipe doesn't call for butter, but who doesn't want some butter in there? There we go. And we're going to get that going so that we can saute up some chicken. And then while that's warming up, we'll go over the rest of our ingredients. So we've got two fairly medium to large size white onions. I reserved maybe a quarter of that and diced it fine. This is a rough chop, but the diced fine will be as a garnish later. We've got 4 or 5 smashed up cloves of garlic. It's supposed to be 2 cans of the green chilies, but I bought the big one, so it was only 1. We've got some garnish here, which is cilantro, but when I was thinking I was going to garnish with cilantro, I decided that I was just going to throw a few sprigs into the recipe. You're cooking, you decide you want some cilantro, that's good. The recipe calls for 4, oh sorry about that, the recipe calls for, look in all sorts of places, the recipe calls for 4 large chicken breasts, boneless, skinless sauteed up, or 1 whole rotisserie chicken. I had rotisserie chicken last night and I had a half of one left. So we did 2 chicken breasts raw and then 2 already pre-cooked for me. And then we've got 3 14.5 ounce cups of broth. Instead of using the cups of broth, I went with my absolute favorite. This is the Knorr, but it's the Knorr chicken stock, but the best part is that it's the roasted. Don't get tricked by getting regular chickens that aren't roasted. Why would you be afraid of extra flavor? And then we've got 5 cans of the Great Northern white beans over here, and then a little bit of cayenne, a little cumin, a little oregano, just to make it great. So I hear that this is bubbling up over here, so we're gonna get this chicken sauteed. Yeah, it looks great. Awesome. Oh, probably could have been a little hotter. I'm sure it'll work. There we go. Excellent. We're gonna season this with a little salt and pepper to taste. Don't go too crazy with the salt right now, because don't forget that chicken stock is going to have a lot of salt in it. So, you know, as you're cooking, you're tasting along, I hope, instead of just following the recipe exactly. All right. We're going to probably saute this for 4 5 minutes, let it get cooked up completely, get it some browning on there, and then we'll start adding in our other chicken and our and all of our other ingredients. This thing goes pretty quick. Back with you in a sec. So we've got the chicken sauteing, it's reducing, we've got all that water boiled off, and we're creating a beautiful fond on the pan. And even though the recipe doesn't call for it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull some of that fond off the bottom, And what that's going to do is just give us more and more flavor. Doesn't call for the Sauvignon Blanc. I'm betting it's going to be fantastic. So see, you go ahead and do that. You start pulling that fond off. And then once that fond is come off, you can go ahead and throw in some your onions and get those guys sauteed. And we're going to give those just a minute or two head start before we end up throwing the garlic and the next stuff in. So we're going to let the onions sweat down for just a few minutes here. Okay, we've got the onions sauteed down a little bit. I just took a little taste. They're tasting fantastic. I didn't need to add any more salt and pepper at this time. There was a little more fond building up, so I'm going to put a little more wine in there. Just stir it around. Oh man. Just pulling off all those fantastic flavors. Next is a little bit of the garlic. This was the 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. You don't want this to go in very far, you know, for a long time, because you don't want garlic to burn. So just get the raw edge off of it. So maybe a minute, minute and a half there. Oh, it smells good though. Ooh, if you could smell this, it'd be fantastic. All right, now we've got our green chilies going in. They don't need to saute at all. We're just going to be putting in the liquids here in a second. Let's go ahead and go with the chicken stock. You can see I didn't do a very good job of dissolving all of it. It's okay. It'll be fine. Give that a quick stir. Oh my gosh, we're going to want to get this thing up to a boil. Looking fantastic. We're going to need to get the white beans in there. And I think I'm still going to throw the cilantro. I'm just going to get a couple of sprigs of cilantro. I'll pull them out later. I just think, oh, I'm scared. I'll do half the batch of cilantro. And then we've got our white beans to go in. Juices and all. There we go, fantastic. Now it's looking like a white bean soup. All right, this is awesome. I'm just making sure I scrub off all the goodies on the bottom. Feels like I've got it. We're gonna go ahead and bring it up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer and let that go 15-20 minutes. And then the only other thing we're going to do is we're going to taste for salt and seasoning. But I also like to have my soup a little thicker. And so I brought my potato masher out, and we're going to mash up some of those beans, and that'll help thicken it up. But I'll know how thick I actually want it when we're getting closer to done. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to throw in a couple of the key ingredients. We've got our oregano, a couple teaspoons of dried oregano. I like Mexican oregano. I think that adds just a little extra flavor. 1, 2 of those guys. Then we need 2 teaspoons of cumin. Smelling fantastic. And then 1 teaspoon of cayenne, just to keep it, to kick it up a notch there. We've got that. And again, you know, if you like a little more cayenne, a little less cayenne, you know, cook to your tastes. It's, you know, it really is up to you. I'll probably adjust this, you know, a few times before I get the exact mix that I want. All right, now we're going to let it go for 15-20 minutes. See you in a minute. White beans should be ready to go, the white bean soup. So we're gonna give it a quick taste, because that's the most important thing before you serve it to anybody else, is make sure that it tastes good. If it needs salt, pepper, cayenne, or something like that. So we'll get it going here. Looking fantastic. Smell, just by the smell, it smells absolutely delicious. Haven't pulled out that cilantro yet. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Let's see if I can do this without burning myself. Probably should have gotten a smaller spoon. Ooh. But nice, spicy, rich, I think this is ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and get this baby plated up. All right. Get a couple of dishes going here. Oh, and I was mentioning that I might use the potato masher to mash it up, but once we do a close-up of this, I think that the consistency is fine. Today I'm thinking I'd rather have a thinner soup than a thicker soup, but if you like thicker soup, just go ahead and mash up about 1/3 of the beans and that will naturally thicken it up. Oh, look at that great chicken. Absolutely fantastic. Don't drop in there. Bastards. We'll see if we can make a second one with this. There we go. Oh, this will sort of work. Grady's dish might be a little sad. Might not have near as much soupy stuff in there. God dang it. That's awesome. But, you know, sometimes that happens when you're cooking. I think Julia Child said, remember, ladies, you're the only ones in the kitchen. There we go. I think Grady's is going to come out just fine. All right. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of those finely chopped white onions that I told you to reserve. Throw a few of those guys in there. Oh, it looks fantastic. A little dollop of sour cream on the side. That'll help tame that heat. I can hear the steak strips going. We're going to hit it with a little bit of cilantro just for some color. Now get over here, let's eat, Grade.
I thought you'd never ask. Thanks, Brad.
There you go. All right, so here we go. So it's still super hot. Don't burn your tongue.
It smells like heaven.
All right, while you're tasting that, I'm going to look over there. Right now, my grill is at around 400, 425. Actually, while you're tasting, Grady, I'm going to swap you out. Come over on this side.
You got it.
I'm just going to see how the steak is coming. Oh, man, looking good. Oh, starting to get some nice, just go ahead and give it a quarter turn. It's not going to be as important with this to get those hash marks on there, but I always do it. All right, there's your glass. Swap you out here. All right, so Grady's not a big bean fan. How is this?
It's fantastic. It is stunning. It is subtle and it's rich. And even though I'm not the biggest bean fan, I do like beans, and these are delicious.
And you know what? That heat coming from the cayenne. Now that you have the sour cream in here, it's definitely tamed down. So that probably was the right amount.
No, the cayenne is perfect. The heat level is gentle, and it's just residual. It's not like making you run for the Sauv Blanc, although the Sauv Blanc...
I'm not regretting putting the sprigs of cilantro in.
No?
The sprigs of cilantro are giving a nice background note to this. All that wonderful chicken, you know, you saw that we got a really good saute on that chicken, and we built up that fond on the bottom of the pan, so there's just tons of flavor in here.
Ridiculous amounts of flavor. This is illegal to have this much flavor in a soup.
Holy cow. That's really, really good. So my nice,
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers. I suspected this was going to go pretty good. A nice citrusy Sauvignon Blanc, not the big New Zealand citrus bomb. This has got a nice balance of some melons and some other tree fruit in there as well, but that nice bit of citrusy balances this out so nicely. And I am not upset. You know, it thickened up nicely. I don't think I want this much thicker.
No.
If you ended up with a little too much broth, you could always mash those guys up and thicken it up. But I think the consistency of the soup is really good.
It's perfect. And there's something fun going on with the cilantro and the Sauv Blanc. The flavor from the Sauv Blanc is changing the character of the cilantro. So when you have the cilantro by itself, it's really good. Then you have it with the Sauv Blanc, it kind of melds into something even more savory.
Oh, I just got a cilantro sprig.
I'm telling you. Now hit it after that cilantro with that Sauv Blanc.
All right, that's fantastic. We're gonna save this up.
Oh yeah.
Make another bowl. Get the steak finished up.
Two bowls.
All right, guys, there it is. There's my white bean soup. It's just a super simple dish. You've probably got everything in your pantry. If not, you can go ahead, you know, if you've got the beans, go ahead and soak them up overnight. It's all the same thing. You'll need to add a little extra liquid just because the soup cans, or the cans had, the bean cans had liquid in them. Anyway, long story short, hope you enjoy it. Go ahead and make it. It's a super simple recipe. And honestly, after you start cooking, it's only 20 minutes or so.
Simple.
All right, see you in a few.
Cheers. God bless America, that's delicious.